These carvings, they were made last week, not 200 years ago.
The edges were crisp, free of moss. Someone had carved this stone in recent days. A branch cracked behind him, then another. Shapes gathered in the dim forest. A young woman stepped into the clearing, her hand lifted, palm open.
Captain Ren's fingers are already closing around his sword hilt. He's going to give the order.
Hold your position. Weapons ready. One more step, and I'll cut you down where you stand. Where you stand.
Wait, I can speak their tongue. Let me try.
You'll do nothing. Stay behind the line, Itsuki. That's an order.
The two sides froze, a heartbeat from bloodshed. Only the wind spoke. The girl's eyes searched Itsuki's face, and for a moment, the world beyond the wall held its breath.
Peace to you. My name is Itsuki. Do you understand these words?
Yes. You speak the old tongue. No one inside has ever spoken it to us.
What did she say? Itsuki. That dialect was lost centuries ago.
She understands me, Captain. The ancient speech survived out here, isolated.
Ask her who they are and why they are here. I want answers.
Who are your people? How long have you lived beyond the wall?
We are the left behind. Our ancestors were shut out when the walls were sealed. We remember.
Captain, she claims they have been here since the walls were built. That contradicts everything we were taught.
Then, your books are wrong. Go and find out the truth, but I am not risking my soldiers. You have one chance.
Itsuki stepped forward, crossing the invisible line between known and forbidden. The soldiers' fingers tightened on their triggers.
Come. Our village is not far. The elder will want to meet you.
The village was hidden in a hollow, its wooden huts built into the hillside, smoke rising from cooking fires.
This man has the eyes of someone who has seen a century's worth of secrets.
You speak our tongue like a grandson of the old kingdom. None from inside have ever returned our words.
I studied the ancient tongues, but they taught us nothing of living people. Why were you left outside?
When the walls were sealed, our ancestors were outside. The gates never opened. They sealed us to die.
Itsuki wrote every word, his ink-stained fingers trembling with a truth that rewrote history.
Kato, follow the translator. I want a full report on everything he writes and everyone he speaks to.
Yes, Captain. I'll keep an eye on him.
Kaito found Itsuki by the fire, still recording, unaware that the first shadow of the crown's hand had fallen over him.
Elder, the walls were built to protect from titans, but you speak of a different purpose.
Protect. Number. The walls were a cage. The old kingdom imprisoned the people inside to control them. They sealed the gates and erased all memory of us. We were meant to die in silence.
They didn't build the walls to keep titans out. They built them to lock us in.
Itsuki's quill scratched faster, a desperate record of a kingdom's crime. That night, at the expedition camp, a courier bird crossed the wall, carrying sealed orders. Captain Ren broke the seal. The parchment was cold and exact. By order of the crown, all contact with outside humans must be erased. Witnesses eliminated. This never happened.
So it's true. The kingdom will kill to keep this buried.
Ren called his most trusted soldiers. The village had to be erased before Itsuki's word spread.
Blades being sharpened at dawn. Not for an expedition, for an execution.
The camp had transformed. Whispers replaced conversation. Supplies were packed in haste. Ren was not planning any return journey.
Itsuki, your work is done. Report to your tent and prepare for departure.
Departure? We just arrived. He's shutting me out. That's not caution. That's a verdict. Sora, I am staying in the village tonight. I need to finish my translations. I won't leave yet.
You feel it too, don't you? The silence in the air before a storm.
I won't let history repeat itself. Not while I can still write the truth.
That night, Commander Ren summoned his inner circle. The tent canvas muffled the cold words.
At first light, we strike. No survivors, no records. This village will have never existed.
A candle away, Itsuki slept under a borrowed blanket, unaware the morning sun would bring the final betrayal. Before dawn, a fist struck the village door. Not a knock of warning, but a command.
Kaito's hands tremble. He wasn't this nervous yesterday. Captain Ren needs you back. Immediately. He said the mission is done and we're pulling out. Pulling out? We found a living people. I'm not done.
The path to camp was lined with soldiers. They moved like shadows given steel. Outside the command tent, a murmur slipped through canvas. Sweep the village at dawn. No survivors.
Kaito, they're going to kill them all, you knew. I couldn't tell you. They said the kingdom would fall if the truth got out.
Itsuki didn't wait. He ran, the forest blurring, the borrowed blanket still clutched in his hand.
He knows. Sound the alarm. Secure the perimeter before he reaches the village.
Run! Captain Ren is coming with soldiers. They have orders to kill everyone who knows the truth.
They would bury us all. But where can we flee? The soldiers are faster.
We don't need to outrun them. We need to outlast the secret. Give me your signal flares. I know how to turn them into a message.
A message? To whom?
There are people inside the walls who know the old codes. If they see a pattern they recognize, they will believe the outside is alive.
Teach me. I will send it.
3 red flares, then 1 green. Wait, 2 breaths, then fire another green. The pattern means we are here, alive.
The village erupted into motion. Mothers grabbed children. Bundles were thrown into the forest.
If I don't make it, these words still will. The truth won't die in this forest.
From the distant tree line, the first horn of the approaching soldiers split the dawn.
Itsuki, wait. I am not here to stop you. I am here to help. Help! You knew they would slaughter innocents and said nothing. I know. I was a coward, but I can't let it happen. I can smuggle your notes back inside the walls. The only soldier who showed guilt might be the only chance to get the truth past the wall. These are my field notes and a coded summary for the resistance. Tell them the walls are a prison. I'll guard them with my life. Where should I go when I reach the inner districts? Find a tavern called the Broken Wheel. Ask for a man with a scarred ear. He'll know what to do.
Kaito tucked the pages inside his uniform, against his heart. The horn sounded again, closer.
Go now. Through the eastern ravine. Don't look back.
Kaito vanished into the shadows, just as the first torchlight appeared over the rise. The village's fate would be decided in flames, but its words were already slipping away. Commander Ren stood at the edge of the clearing, his gaze sweeping over the fleeing figures. Neither Itsuki nor Kaito were among the captured.
They've betrayed us. Burn it. Burn it all. Leave nothing but ashes.
The torch line advanced like a wave of fire, the dry thatch of the huts igniting instantly.
Sora! The red flare now. Don't wait for my signal.
I remember the pattern. 3 reds, then the greens.
The first red flare hissed into the smoke-dark sky, a bleeding wound of crimson light.
Archers, bring down that light. They're signaling the inner wall.
1 down, 2 more reds, then the greens. They're starting to understand what this means.
Elder Haru raised his staff, his voice ancient and unbroken. Run to the ravine. We will hold them as long as stone holds memory. As the second red flare rose, Itsuki grabbed the flare gun from Sora. I'll finish the pattern. Go. A third red star tore through the smoke, a signal no one inside had read in centuries.
Take these flares. Go to the ridge and fire a green one every hour. Prove it's not a single signal.
I will not fail. I'll send them until someone answers.
If these words survive, let them prove that we were here and the kingdom lied. Elder Haru caught his eye, a silent nod carrying the weight of 2 centuries. The remaining villagers vanished into the deeper forest, swallowed by the same trees that had hidden them for generations.
Let them come. Every moment I delay is another flare scene.
Through the smoke, Captain Ren's silhouette appeared, sword drawn, flame shadows on his blade. Itsuki stood alone in the burning village, armed with a truth no sword could cut. The blade rose, but above, The first green flare bloomed.
You are too late, Captain. The sky already speaks the truth you wanted to bury in ash and silence.
A few lights and smoke mean nothing to the crown. You are still a traitor who will hang.
I serve truth, not thrones built on a mountain of corpses. They know we exist now.
Bind him. He will die with his lies cut across his throat.
Soldiers forced Itsuki to his knees, but his eyes never left the sky, where a second green star bloomed.
Keep firing, Sora. Make the sky a message they can never unread.
On the ridge, Sora loaded a third green flare, her arm braced against the weight of centuries.
Your fear can't kill a star, Captain. It just makes it brighter.
Take him to the execution ground. I'll end this myself.
Bound and bleeding, Itsuki was dragged through the ashes, but the green constellation above continued to burn with a truth no sword could kill.
Itsuki, they're going to break you, and I am carrying the very notes they'd kill for.
The captain threw Itsuki against the blackened timbers of a burned hut, his patience gone.
Where are the notes? Where did you send the villagers? Tell me, or I'll flay the answers from you.
The only words you'll get are the ones you can't burn. They are already past your reach.
You think your defiance means anything? You are a dead man, Itsuki, but I can make your death last days.
I have to move. Before he breaks and they search every soldier, I have to get the notes inside the wall.
Miles away on the Great Wall, a watchtower guard pointed at the green lights blooming in the dawn. His shout carried across the rampart. That's the old distress pattern. The pattern was recognized. 3 reds, then greens. A code from a forgotten manual, now a signal that the outside was not empty. Ren watched as blood dripped from Itsuki's lip onto the ash. The silence only meant more secrets. In the shadows, Kaito turned east, his satchel heavy with Itsuki's truth. The village had burned, but its words were already crossing the wall. Kaito slipped back into camp, his uniform blending among the weary soldiers, but his satchel felt heavier than a corpse.
At dawn, the traitor dies. Search his body, his tent, burn every scrap he ever wrote.
Burn every scrap. When the real pages are stitched against my ribs.
And if the soldier Kaito shows his face, lock him up. He abandoned his post.
Kaito ducked behind the supply carts, heart thrashing, and pulled the satchel off his shoulder. He knelt, stuffing the folded pages deep into the sole of his boot, pressing them flat beneath wool and leather.
Now, I am a ghost in plain sight. If they search me, they won't find the truth.
Nearby, soldiers sharpened stakes for the dawn spectacle. Their laughter a cold wind, a pair of guards muttered as they passed. The translator won't last the hour. Ren's in a rage. Kaito touched his boot, feeling the sharp corner of Itsuki's final proof. He had until dawn. Dawn broke over the execution ground. Itsuki, hands bound, was forced onto his knees. Captain Ren's sword left its sheath with a slow, deliberate hiss.
Look at them, Ren. Those people buried their children in these woods, sang songs older than the wall. Does that sound like an enemy?
Enemies are what the crown declares. Your pity is weakness.
For a breath, the blade stayed still. He's listening.
Ren gave the nod. The soldier lifted the blade. A red flare streaked past, aimed for the ammunition tent. Kaito, at the tree line, lowered the spent flare gun. The tent erupted in fire and thunder. Soldiers dove for cover. In the chaos, Itsuki lunged forward, staggering toward the forest. Captain Ren appeared through the fire, his sword already swinging. The blade pierced Itsuki's back, sharp and final. He fell, clutching the empty satchel to his chest. Through the smoke, Ren's furious eyes found Kaito, flare gun still smoking in his trembling hand. Kaito threw down the smoking flare gun and ran to Itsuki, the world a chaos of fire and shouts. He slid to his knees beside the fallen translator, whose blood was soaking the ash.
Kaito, the notes. Tell them, the walls are a cage. I swear it. They'll know. Your words won't die here.
Captain Ren, a shrapnel wound across his arm, was pulling back his remaining troops. The ammunition loss had broken their line. Kaito felt Itsuki's hand go limp. The sky above still carried the green star of the last flare. With trembling hands, Kaito closed Itsuki's eyes. The empty satchel lay there, a monument to what had been given away.
I won't bury you here, but I'll carry your purpose.
Kaito lifted Itsuki's satchel, the strap worn from a scholar's short life, and slung it over his own shoulder. The camp was silent now, except for fire and the distant sound of a horn recalling the soldiers. 3 days later, the expedition limped back through the inner gate. Its official report a single word: empty. That night, in a rented room, Kaito drew the blood-stained pages from his boot.
Itsuki, I won't let them burn your truth. I'll make sure they hear it.
He found the Broken Wheel Tavern, its wooden sign creaking under a moonless sky. In the back corner, a man with a scarred ear waited. Kaito slid the pages across the table. The scarred man traced the coded symbols, his face hardening with every line he read. He muttered in recognition. The walls were a cage. This matched the old reports the crown burned.
Then distribute them. Copy them. Itsuki died for these words to be known.
The man nodded. By week's end, every pamphlet in the lower districts would carry Itsuki's name. The pages disappeared into the man's coat. By morning, the first copying presses were already running. The scarred man traced Itsuki's handwriting, mapping the code to the flares that had been seen over the wall. The flare pattern matched an old distress code, but Itsuki's notes gave it a new message. We are alive. The hidden history in those pages was treason. The walls were built to imprison, not protect. They began copying Itsuki's journal, each page a seed of rebellion. In the palace, an intelligence officer reported the pamphlets spreading, the crown's secret leaking from every gutter. By royal decree, anyone caught with Itsuki's writings would hang. Patrols tore apart tenement houses. Kaito heard the news in a safe house, the walls vibrating with the sound of soldiers' boots.
They fear the truth more than titans. The walls are already cracking.
Even as the prisons filled, more pamphlets appeared. Itsuki's name became a whispered prayer. The kingdom had erased villages, but it could not erase a sentence. The walls were beginning to break. A week later, soldiers found Kaito. He didn't run. He let them take him. At the tribunal, they gave him one chance to recant. He used it to speak.
Itsuki wrote, "The walls are a cage. I saw the bars. I saw the bars. I saw the abandoned. You kill to keep us blind. Every page you burn grows tenfold. You can't execute an idea."
The tribunal ordered his execution, but the streets already knew the truth. By nightfall, pamphlets covered the lower districts. The walls are a cage was everywhere. From his cell, Kaito heard guards whisper Itsuki's name. The walls were cracking. At dawn, they came for him. He didn't resist. The truth was already free. His last words were Itsuki's. Tell them the walls are a cage. The blade fell, but the words had already crossed every wall. By week's end, Itsuki's journal was read in every market. The words, "The walls are a cage," echoed from 1,000 throats. The lower districts erupted. The crown's founding myth crumbled under the truth. In the palace, officials declared the journal a forgery. Patrols burned pamphlets, but the truth had already seeped through the stones. Then, on a cold morning, a watchtower guard reported a green flare. Then another, then a third, then a third. The pattern matched Itsuki's code exactly. The outside was alive, sending the message he had promised. Beyond the wall, Sora had kept her promise, sending the flares until someone answered. Itsuki's field glasses and journal lay on a stone, stained with rain, a silent monument to the words that had crossed the barrier. In the streets, people began to whisper his name, not as a traitor, but as the man who spoke the first true word. The crown could no longer deny it. The outside world people were real, and they had sent a message that could not be erased. Itsuki had been silenced, but his words had grown louder than swords. The walls would never be the same. The public square became a sea of defiance. Itsuki's name was a battle cry as thousands surged toward the prison sector. Resistance fighters smashed the cell door. Kaito stepped into the light, his shackles still hanging from his wrists. With Kaito at the front, the crowd marched to the Great Wall, their chants shaking the foundations of the old order. At the gate, soldiers hesitated. The ancient seal had never been broken by such numbers. A child lifted a flare, a symbol of the outside message. The crowd surged forward. The gates groaned open. For the first time in 2 centuries, the wall was breached. Through the gap, Sora and Elder Haru emerged, their faces lit by a new dawn. Kaito froze, seeing the faces Itsuki had described, a promise fulfilled. Kaito stepped forward and clasped hands with Elder Haru. The first contact was made. Commander Ren, disgraced and hunted, was dragged in chains to face the world he had tried to destroy. At the ruins where he first read living words, Itsuki's satchel and journal were placed on a simple stone, a memorial for the man who spoke the truth.
He was no traitor. He was the first to see beyond the walls, and he gave us the words to cross them.
His final entry read, "Words are the best weapon. They cannot be burned, and they travel faster than fire." Elder Haru and Sora stood among the crowd, their presence a testament to survival and truth. A pair of Itsuki's glasses, still stained with ink, rested atop the journal, the scholar's tools that had changed a world. Sora raised a flare gun and fired it into the brightening sky, the same signal that had crossed the wall, now a salute. At the edge of the crowd, Commander Ren stood in chains, forced to witness the truth he had tried to erase. Kaito knelt and pressed a sapling into the soil beside the memorial, life where there had been only ash. The crowd slowly dispersed, but Itsuki's words hung in the air like the echo of the flare, a promise kept. The translator, who could not fight, had changed history with words, and the walls would never be the same. Away from the crowds, at a lone grave beneath an ancient oak, Kaito knelt with a sapling from the village. He pressed the roots into the soil beyond the wall, where Itsuki had first stepped into a forbidden world. Sora loaded a signal flare, her hands steady now, and aimed it at the heavens. The green light burst upward, tracing the same path that had once split the sky with a promise. As the glow faded, it illuminated the words carved deep into the stone. He spoke the first true word. Kaito rose, his work finished, and looked toward the distant wall. In the distance, the once sealed gates stood wide open, a stream of people moving freely between 2 worlds. Itsuki's satchel, weathered by rain and time, hung from a branch above the grave, a quiet sentinel, and the sapling, small and stubborn, began to grow, roots deep in the soil of a land that was no longer a grave. The gate remained open, the sky remained clear, and the words of a lone translator had at last brought a kingdom out of its cage.